How do you like your women? Blonde? Brunette? Redhead?
Blondes. What do you want, Mr. Quaid?
The same as you, to remember.
But why?
Sean. It was really nice to meet you yesterday. That noise you hear is a little bit of intermittent background noise. Let me get my chair adjusted. In your SWR Strawberry Blonde. So just take a listen before I feed it a sine wave. Gain. I'll turn a master up. All right. Oral enhancer. Bass. Nice and clean. Mid-range. Nice. Treble. Nice and clean. Effects blend to be determined. Reverb. Nice and clean. Master is a little dirty. And I suspect that your effects loop is dirty as well, or dirty rather. And input as well. So let us feed it a sine wave and take it from there. All right, Sean, I'm back. I'm going to be feeding it a clean sine wave because I want to gauge how the front end is going to be impacted by the signal, observe any clipping or other noises that could be lost inside of a square or a triangle wave. So let's get it going here. You know what this is going to sound like already. You're losing a lot of signal integrity in these dirty controls and jacks, there's no doubt. Oh, that's thick. Wow. She brings the thunder. Mid-range. Treble. I like the active controls. Like, I don't know if that's 15 decibels of cut and boost on each one. Or if that's just an arbitrary number they're showing here. Alright, so I've seen enough. So let's do this. Let me feed the signal into the effects return. And I'm going to make some assumptions about the configuration, be it series or parallel or a blend of the two, no pun intended. So let's get that going. All right, so in this instance, let's get your control panel into focus here. This effects blend knob will act as your master volume in a sense, or rather the gain control, since it's being fed back into what is ostensibly the phase inverter. I should actually, oh, spring reverb, check it out. Nice. So what is ostensibly the phase inverter? I do need to check the schematic, which I have not done yet. Usually I do homework the day before, but you know, shooting from the cuff here. Trying to fit you in, buddy. That's clean. It's dirty. There's a little bit of corrosion there. So that's not the end-all be-all test for effects loops, especially because in a sense it sort of takes the thing out of the equation. Since we're patching a cable in directly, we're not gauging the influence of the closed effects loop on the signal integrity. So if your jacks are corroded, then the little ground switch on these jacks may not be making complete contact. So the signal is not being cleanly transferred from one stage to the next, to the output stage. So let me break her loose and get you back. Here's a quick aside. If you're going to approach the removal of this chassis with a power tool, a rotary tool, obviously, there's nothing wrong with that, but know thy tool. You want to be using a clutch-based drive system on a very low torque setting. You want to make sure that the carve out for the driver pattern is completely clean, that there's no funk or dirt in there that's going to prevent the bit from fully seating. That's perfect. All right. So you want to make sure that it's not canted one way or the next. And then you'll slowly apply a little bit of throttle, and that's it. And the same with retightening. When I say know thy tool, I mean you should be able to determine whether or not something's cross-threaded before you actually use your tool by starting it with your fingers. And that's where a lot of guys will go wrong. And then at the end, you want to make sure that the torque setting on your power tool is relatively low, and then you'll finish it by hand. And we're back. This is actually a 2003 unit that was assembled on August the 9th by Miguel. Don't believe me? That's okay. You could believe Miguel. Check that out. Cool. So, nice little Chemtronics tank in there. Neat build. Got some socketed ICs. Way to go. And some quality parts. I like what I'm seeing. All right. I'm going to check out and see what class this amp is. It's very clean. Is it a D? I'm going to remove this front and rear control panel. Actually, just the front. Though I do need to get in here and test these caps, so we'll do that too. So I'll start by carefully popping off these guys. These make me incredibly nervous. These are split shaft pots. What does that mean? That means if I'm not careful, when I'm removing and reinstalling these knobs, that I can bend it. Bend one of these sides here. This is what you see on a guitar, right? You'll bend one of these sides inward or outward. And if you try to correct the position of it, it's going to snap right there. So we want to be very careful when we're doing this. Actually, I have a little tool I use. It's actually meant for automotive panel removal on the interior. It's this little guy. I use it as a little bit of a jack. And it works great and actually protects the surface of whatever you're working on. Nice, relatively soft plastic, no hard edges, really. Sharp, meaning, except for the very tip. So it's not going to ruin finishes. And if it's being deployed on something that I would be dubious of deploying a hard tool on, then I would obviously take some precautions. So let's get into this thing. So this is a very big clue when you see this this amount of dust on things. It's no doubt migrated into the pot body itself. And this is why you're hearing all the staticky crackles. And if you look at the jacks here in the back, you can see the dust there as well, can't you? Yes, you can. Yes, you can. Watch this. Where am I at? Watch the difference right here. See that? So imagine what's on the switching contacts. That's going to interrupt your signal, give you issues with your tone, and then some. So let's see if I can get this guy going again. And you know what I use as a tool? These magnetic parts trays. They do so many things for me. And this is just one of them. I use magnets a lot, actually. Use physics in your favor. We're going to be using this guy, which is basically a stud detector. Incredibly strong magnet. It's already loose. I could tell straight away that these pots are going to be very, very sensitive with respect to mounting. A precarious position on this little PCB. So we're going to be very careful in the way we remove this. And it looks like I'll have enough slack in this wire harness to swing this over and inspect the bottom of this board. I should. Whenever you see smaller shaft pots with this split shaft at the end, then think pot metal. Think metal fatigue. And treat it accordingly. And then you'll be good to go. You know, mitigate some risk, some heartache. I do have some connections off of this loom going to the speaker phase switch and the power indicator. So I'll have to sort that out before I can rotate this board. Let's see if this works. This is what I usually use on the hot rods. It actually saves wear and tear on these shafts if you can do it right, but not really the best tool for the job here. Yeah, it's kind of cool, you can see them. But yeah, not the best tool for the job here. Maybe. Got a few of them snagged, but it's quicker to go by hand, so we'll just do that. Bye. And we're free to do a proper inspection and clean, so I will be back shortly. Yeah, so when you're reinstalling this, you want to be very careful. These do not have the little brackets like the Hot Rod Series amps or the PVs do. What am I talking about? Let me grab a pot like that, and I'll show you. Can I? I can. All right, when I'm servicing PVs, this is what I'm referring to. So I can get that in there. You see these wedge-shaped ends there? That's a bracket. Let's get her up. Whoop. Sorry about that. But yeah, this is what I'm referring to. This guy right here. It will not focus. We're having all kinds of malfunctions here. But yeah, this is the type of pot that I'm referring to. You can see how thin these little solder terminals are here. And that's all that's supporting this once that little nut works itself loose on a chassis. So you're asking for a disaster. But PV has these snap-in legs here, and I believe the Hot Rod series does as well. In the reissue, if I'm not mistaken. And they go a long ways towards keeping this thing running. So that's cool. All right. Let me grab chopstick. So when you're dealing with these types of jacks, do not over tighten. And then sometimes the mere act of loosening these to access them will break these. This is pretty much the reason why I quit working on the old ADA MP1 preamps. So And I'm not sure with this camera angle I'll be able to do this job without banging into the camera mount, but I'll just show you how I approach cleaning these jacks. So first I have a bit of a dummy plug. Let me actually do this first. All right. There we go. I'll give it a little bit of a spray with that before I start. Well, that's not going to do anything for these little switching contacts here. These guys, which you see open now, that I've inserted the jack, or the plug rather. So what I'm going to do is use this little burnishing file, and it's barely a file. It's not abrasive in the least, but it's abrasive enough to remove corrosion on these little contacts. So here's what I'm going to do. See if I can work this in, and this indentation here on the opposite end will be making the actual contact with the opposite. So this is a terrible angle. This camera's gonna really get me here. So here's the idea. And this is just damn near impossible with this camera, but let's open this up a little bit. Maybe I can slide it in. I need to work on these angles. This is why I don't usually film all this stuff. There we go. I'm going to take her out. I'm just going to kind of work this around like that. Can't even see, huh? Let's see if I can go over the top with this. Hang on there. Got to get the shot, huh? There we go. Move this out the way. So what I'm essentially trying to do is just this. And I did that a few times while the shot was obscured. And that's what you want to do here as well. I'll go in from the side. And this is actually not even going to be a concern at this point because there's no opposing contact. It's actually making contact with the barrel of the plug itself. But we are going to ensure that there's no filth in there. And that's why we did this. A little spray there. So I have this open. I'm going to give her another pass with the spray. And I'm just going to work that a few times like that. And I'm holding this to ensure that I'm not putting pressure on the jack. All right, so I'm going to address the other jacks here, and then I'll move on over to the pots, which I'm probably not going to film because I got to work. Your front control panel is pretty much complete. After I remount the board, I'm going to pop out those socketed ICs and clean out those little sockets. Now, while I have good access to the faceplate here, let's give her a little clean. Just a little one. I'm using simple Windex or simple glass cleaner. That's all you need. Do all the little details with a Q-tip later on. But for now, let's just get her nice and clean. I like it. I like the phase switch there. Nice and clean. All right, let's attack this rear control panel, then reassemble. Do some testing. Well, if you're curious why your little power indicator wasn't working, there you go. Look at that. Wasn't even soldered in there. They just They literally just poked it through that little solder lug. I'll get that taken care of. But in the meantime, feast your eyes on that. All right. That's better. Not the camera shot. All right. Here we go. So I've tested everything on the power amp. Everything specs out awesome. On the preamp side, I have removed and cleaned and replaced all those ICs. So let's power her on. Look at that. No more disappearing on-off indicator. Let's put everything to the middle and observe noise, if any. Look at that. A little bit of noise left on that master. About right there. At the 97% mark. Let's see if I can clean that a little further, but nice. Nice and quiet. The gain noise should be resolved as well. Let's check it out. It is. Beautiful. Whoa, whoa! All right, let's see if we're stable. Yeah, camera mount. Oh yeah. Master full up, just cracking the gain. Wow. A notable difference. Beautiful. Nice. Good Lord. Nice. Very happy. Very nice. Nice. I love it, dude. Come on. We're in business. Let's get a square wave. Wow. Wow. I like it. There you have it. I am pumped. Can't wait to hear it through its own cab, Sean. Bye.